Welcome to the Verdin Verdict Sports Show. I'm your host, Jacob Verdin, joined by my guy, G Sports. G, LSU got it done. We said we have some news today, good or bad. It was good. It was crazy, quite frankly, honestly. Good is an understatement. How you feeling now?
Man, I'm excited to see them take on Coastal Carolina after watching them against Louisville. Very exciting team on a 26 game win streak. So I'm curious to see if Jay Johnson and them boys can keep that 4 leaf clover in their back pocket.
Shoot, bruh. At this point, it might be an 8 leaf clover, dog. Like, I can't. Everybody that I talked to said that's one of the best baseball games they've ever seen. I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon and agree with him. I ain't gonna lie because that was just pure magic. The cardiac catch, baby. They don't call you that for no reason, dog. They shocked the nation on Wednesday night, right? Bear Jones answers the call not once, G, but twice in the eighth inning. You need one run to tie it up. Bear says, "Hey, y'all watch this. Bink, gone, tie ball game." Then Arkansas does their magic. They think that, it's good. Ninth inning, we go up two. We added some insurance. You know what I'm saying? Go into the ninth. There's no way it happens, right? Absolutely no way. Had an opportunity at a double play to close it out. Shortstop for the Razorbacks. Instead of throwing the first when Milam was halfway down that base path, he decides to move it to third. A lot of people are scratching their heads. The hell is that? And 2 runs played, tie ball game, courtesy of Luis Hernandez. That's another one of those errors. Straight to left field. Buddy stretches out for it off the tip of his glove. But wait, we ain't done, G. We ain't done. Bear Jones, once again, dial him up. Big 22. Head honcho. Goes up to the plate. Don't hit a dinger this time, but he gets it just over the glove, homie. Like right here. I'm talking about a credit card length over them fingers, dog. Fourth error in half of an inning for the Razorbacks. Look, I saw a tweet. Somebody said I don't know if God's an LSU fan. He might be, but he sure as hell ain't an Arkansas fan. Arkansas been getting drugged through the mud, G. It's like bad luck every single College World Series. They're 0-5 versus LSU now. 0-5. Over. That's what Bear Jones went in that game against Arkansas to open it up, this whole bracket. 0 for 5, 5 Ks. And then he said, you know what? Hold on, wait a minute. Y'all watch this. What was your reaction like that? Because me, I fell out the bed, dog. I was in there laying down night then and getting all gloomy. I was ready to make a bad post. Unless you got to go out and throw Einstein tomorrow. That's what I thought I was going to have to post. Nah, not happening.
Yeah. Man, you just got to give Jay Johnson some credit the way he mix and matches his lineups. We talked about in the last episode how he moved Bell Jones from that third spot and moved him to the fifth spot. I know he did it another time since the playoffs been going on, but throughout the season, Bell Jones been at that 3 spot, and that's just a testament of Jay Johnson having a feel for his team and understanding his players and how to put them in position to be able to get their confidence and be successful. Um, Winning that game was so crucial because if had they lost and they did end up making it to the championship against Coastal Carolina, you knew you wouldn't go have one of your aces, and it would have been extremely tough for LSU to be able to win that World Series, bro, without having both of their aces able to pitch. And
I
so it
agree.
all worked out. And Jay Johnson, you could tell he started um, putting pinch hitters in the game because he wanted to go all out and make sure they won that game because he knew it was going to be difficult if they had to come back and play again. And then if they did win, get to the championship against Coastal Carolina, it was just going. He needed to win that game and get out of that alive. And that's what they did. And that's what they did. But you know, I'm big on talking about mental toughness. I think especially with social media and just the times we living in, Bear Jones has to get a lot of credit for his mental toughness, his mentality, to be able to withstand the things that he's been going through throughout this postseason. He's had his struggles. He had a
Yeah.
couple games where he did good. The West Virginia game, I think that was one of the games where he kind of got out of his slump, but then he went back in a slump, right? And a lot of LSU fans been killing him on social media, bro. For him to have that kind of uh, mindset to be able to come in that moment, especially when he had a crucial error in his game.
Dog, what? The inning before. That's how Arkansas even got the lead. The double
He had a
play where he dropped that ball
yeah,
at first. He almost had another one too when Milam threw it to him in the
yeah.
ninth. But look,
He had a
but
crucial
it was
error in
worth
that
it.
game, and to have short term memory, right? And forget about that, and be able to come up in the biggest stage of his career. It's just a testament to his mentality, man, and his mental toughness, bro. And I think that when you talk about the great players that show up in the postseason, all of them have mental toughness, and that's something I think people don't talk enough about when you talk about sports. So shout out to Bill Jones, man. I was glad to see him have that moment. Um, and when you think back on, he was draft eligible last year. He could have went and got drafted. He decided to come back, and because he felt like they had a chance to get to the College World Series and win it, and he showed up big time.
Bet on himself, and now everybody's gonna know that name. He's an LSU legend forever. It don't matter what happens in this series, dog. Like you did etch your name in immortality. Quite frankly, not gonna lie. I wanted to ask you this question too. Why the hell did they even pitch to him, dog? Why didn't I walk him? I mean, at that point, you would have had, I think, a force at every base. But even if
Bro,
not, you had a double playing effect. I mean, come on, dog. Like,
yeah, I mean, I understand why they pitched to him. Like, he been struggling, bro. He been struggling, and then after he had the error, if I'm the manager for the Razorbacks, I'm saying, you know what, we gonna pitch them. He probably still thinking about that error. He been having his struggles throughout the postseason. Let's pitch to him and get a strikeout, or he might ground into a double play or whatever. And he made him pay.
hindsight is 2020. Shout out Bear Jones, dog. This test against the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, G. That's their mascot. I
26
had to look
game
that
win
one.
streak.
Man, like to put that in perspective, 26 games, that's like a 30 a season, damn near. A little over. That's insane. That could be one of the hottest teams of Omaha. Is them or LSU? There's a lot of emotions getting tied into this as well. You saw Kramer Robertson ask for a favor from LSU baseball. Go get our get back from 2016. And LSU's not the only team out there looking for revenge. Because when Coastal beat LSU to advance to the national championship, G, you know who they played and you know who they beat. It was Arizona.
Arizona, Jay Johnson.
So we got a double-sided sword of revenge coming into this. I feel like it's going to be interesting to watch this play out. Talk about
And I
this.
like the way Jay Johnson been approaching this when he's been doing these interviews and the press conferences, and he's so mild mannered and calm and collected. He doesn't get too high, he doesn't get too low, and then his team is a reflection of that.
Yep.
That's why they're able to uh, overcome adversity when they go throughout this playoffs and when the regular season was going on, bro. And his teams from the past, because he just understands on how to stay even killed. You could tell like he's not giving the media any bulletin board material to give Coastal Carolina. You can
I
tell, but we
there's
know. But we know behind closed doors when he's talking to Trey Morgan in the lobby of the hotel eating pizza at 2 o'clock in the morning. You know what he's saying, bro. We about to get our catch back. Coastal Carolina, y'all next up. I'm telling you. I know that's what Jay Johnson's saying, man.
Speaking of
He a
bulletin board
gangster.
material.
Jay Johnson a gangster.
I ain't gonna lie, G. I don't know if some LSU fans in the chat saw this on Twitter. It was up and they got taken down and they get taken out of context. I talked to a couple of people about this. There was a quote from Cade Anderson that somebody ran with. He said, I don't even know where Coastal Carolina is. And it just disappeared. Good. I'm glad. Because like you said, we don't need no bulletin board material. No. Not against the A's. Not against
Screenshotting is at an
1A.
all-time high, bro.
Stop.
That I guarantee you that's in their locker room. I can promise you that.
Look, the good thing about it is, like I said, I think that was a little misconstrued. It was a little, not gonna say short-sighted, but I don't think that's what he meant. It might have been implied. Somebody might run with it and assume. I'm gonna give Kate Anderson the benefit of the doubt. I don't think he meant for that to happen, and I think that's probably why that tweet got deleted. But whenever I saw that, there was a couple of LSU.
What you saying? You saying he was innocent? Like it was innocent? Like him saying he don't know what Coastal Carolina is?
Yeah, I
Chill
do.
out,
I
man. Don't be
do.
naive, man. Come on, bro. You
I'm
ain't that
trying.
green, bro. Come on
I'm
now.
trying not to
Come on now.
buy into the Coastal
Come on
Carolina
now.
bulletin board
Come on
material.
now.
I
It's
see
up.
some.
It's up already. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, Jay Johnson has done a great job of how he's been handling the media leading up to this championship.
Yep.
Look, he ain't eating a rat beat.
No, you can't because that first off, especially in this spot when you got all I'm not gonna say momentum behind you, you don't need anything to kill it. You don't need anything negative adding on to this because everything is going your way. I wouldn't want to jinx it. I wouldn't want to add even more fuel to the opposite fire. But got the best 1-2 punch on the mound, G. Got 48 hours of rest from game one of Arkansas that you closed out to tomorrow when you're going to be pitching, I think at 6 o'clock. LSU will be the home team as well for, the opportunity to be able to have the last say Another
Yeah,
walk-off, if you will, which I don't want to see. I would like LSU to handle it before the ninth inning so I don't have a heart attack again. But you know what? I'll take some entertainment. Anderson's gonna go out Saturday. Ianson out Sunday. Obviously, that's what I think. And then, if need be, if you gotta play something on Monday, you could have a deep bullpen. You could have Case and Evans. You could have Zach Cowan. Then, I mean, if you really need Shores or Jay Nude or Jacob Myers, you got
Show has been unbelievable.
you got guys. I think Zach Cowan balled too because to get that call, honestly, I think a lot of people were anticipating him playing at the end of the other series, the one part of UCLA one, whenever they had come out from the delay. A lot of people thought he would get the ball. He didn't. You saw a video of Jay Johnson walking around with him, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, that's who's coming out." I think that it was pretty clear that he was probably preparing him for the moment where he would have to play against an Arkansas in a situation like that. Like, hold on, just slow your horses up, buddy. You're gonna have your opportunity. I think it could be the same situation here in Game 3 potentially. But now this is where it gets interesting. I always like to dive deep, find a little interesting statistic, try to find something, a next gen stat, if you will. So Jay said in 2023 in a press conference, quite frankly, I did not see a path to the title if you lost a Saturday matchup, if you went down 0-1. So I did some digging. Last 21 series, G, only 7 teams have come back from that 0-1 deficit, right? Only 7. It's not do or die. If you lose it, it's not, you're not out the gates. Yeah, it's not impossible to come back from. Matter of fact, in 2016, the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina lost the first game against Jay Johnson, 3-0. They lost to Arizona, and sure enough, game 2 and 3 went their favor, and they were hoisting up a trophy. Not trying to put any.
Was Coastal Carolina manager? Was he the same manager in 2016?
I'm not sure.
Oh,
To
this
be
is a
honest
different
with you.
manager.
Let's find out.
You could tell he got a chip on his shoulder, boy. If you watch him in his press conferences,
Tim Beck has been there since 2022.
nah, that's not the manager name right now.
Nah,
It's forgot his name.
let's
That's
see.
Tim Beck, not his name though.
Gary Gilmore. In 2016, that's who they had. Let's find out this year. Doing a little bit of Googling. Nah, the guy right now is Kevin Schnall.
Yeah, Kevin Schnall. That's it.
It's 2 different guys.
Yeah,
Shout
yeah.
out Gary. He had the ring. He got
So
all the juice. He took it with him when he left.
yeah, so in a sense, Jay Johnson probably doesn't have any personal vendetta from losing to Coastal Carolina because it's different when it was you going against the manager that beat you.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Or a staff that beat you. That's a whole entirely different staff. So he might be telling the truth in these press conferences when he's acting like this is no revenge or anything like that.
I know I'm a little, I'm not gonna say biased, but I would just because of the way it went. You seeing Kramer ask for a favor. I'm gonna err on the side of let's go. Let's strap these war boots on and let's go get ready. Let's get ready.
I do think this is another key stat. I want to say in his 26 game win streak, Coastal Carolina has scored in the first inning in all of those games.
And against Louisville, you remember when we were on live Wednesday, dog? They scored 6 runs in the first
Yeah.
inning. If that
So
happens,
I think that's the key to this championship series, right? Not letting them get off to a good start in that first inning.
yep.
To score in the first inning for that many games consecutive in a row, dog, that's impressive, bro.
Oh,
Now,
what?
of course, a lot of those games came against some Belt teams, right? It wasn't against SEC competition, but still, dog, that's super impressive.
Yeah, it is. It shows level of consistency that you need to be able to even get to that championship. Got our
Yeah.
guy George in the chat kind of building off that point. Going to need an error-free game. Facts. Not to mention pitching. Agreed. And timely hitting. Yeah, you're not going to want to start late. You're not going to want to
I don't,
try to pull
I
off late
don't,
game heroics.
I'm not concerned about LSU in the field. I mean, what happened against Arkansas, man, that was an anomaly. All right,
Mhm.
that's not something that you've seen from them and a Jay Johnson coach team over the years. They're always pretty good in the field. They don't make too many mental errors. I don't think that's something you're gonna see, and I don't anticipate seeing against Coastal Carolina at all.
And I believe that LSU has the most strikeouts in the nation right now. Second time. This is interesting. pitching has been like the. I'm not gonna say the talk of college baseball, but everybody wants to know who's LSU throwing out there on the mound, dog. But when you got these two people rolling out Saturday,
I
Sunday,
I
it's
isn't
feeling good.
going game 1 or game 2.
I think he's going game two because K got the most rest. That's
Yeah,
my take. I would throw
I'm gonna be honest
your
with you. I'm
best
gonna be
player
honest with
out
you.
game one.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I trust Cade Anderson more than Ison.
Oh, I agree. Without a shadow of a doubt. I think
I ain't
K is the
saying don't
top
get me
three pick.
wrong, he a stud, but uh, if I had to bet everything in my bank account, I'm gonna ride with Cade Anderson, especially in game 1.
Hell yeah. I think so too. Dream Chaser, CJ in the chest, and he confident they getting ring number ocho. The odds are close. Coastal is plus 130. LSU minus 160. The run line is 1-5. The total is 8-5. G. You know what they thinking? They're gonna have a damn pitching duel because Coastal almost hit that total in game one last game against Louisville. It'll be interesting. K he got a lot of pressure on his shoulders in that sense. If people are gonna take the under on that. Coco
Right.
in the chat. Shum. Shum. Shout out Alex Pereira, dog. Let's move over to this NBA Finals. Oh my God. What is even going on, dog? What is even going on? That man in center of the screen. He's hurt. He's not hurt. Is it a coy? Is it what is? Is this even real? What the hell? I mean, bro, he pulled it off. I ain't gonna lie. He didn't have a crazy game, but he had enough to be able to force a game seven, the final game in Indy, went exactly the way they wanted. G. I think they won by like what? Uh, I don't know if it was
Bro, they
I
was
was
up about
11
30
points.
at one point.
Oh, it was up enough where I turned it off the second half. I didn't even want to tap back in. I already
Yeah,
knew.
when they went up 90-60, I turned it off.
Bro, it was off to the races early. And that's how the series has kind of been, though. Tit for tat, blow for blow, everybody trying to get their get back. Here's my keys for this game. Thunder had 21 turnovers. Gee, the Pacers forced out of those 21, 16 of them were steals. You know what that ranks in NBA history, NBA Finals history? Third. Hadn't been done in that regard since I think the 2008 Celtics, who had 18. Shout out Kevin Garnett, Rajon Rondo, Paul Pierce. Come on, been a while since we had to say them trios names. But 16 steals, dog. That's insane. That I needed some credit right there. Another key. Thunder just they needed a red light, bro. I mean, I don't care how you do it. I don't care how you communicate the message, bro. Shot 27% from three, 8 for 30. Bro, put the brakes down. I know y'all down big and you need to create some offense, but look, that reminded me, and I don't want to bring back bad memories, brother. That reminded me of the Rockets and the Warriors over 27 straight in a row. Like I was screaming through the TV, hoping that they could hear me. Stop. Enough. Done. Quit. Kaput. Over with. And Thunder were in another one of those spots. Also, another key, the bench play. When the Pacers can produce through their role players on the bench, your Obi Toppins, your TJ McConnells, who had 12, 9, and 6, dog. He almost had a triple double. I mean, that's the cherry on top. They outscored the Thunder's bench 48-37. At this point, I think it's anybody's game in game seven. I ain't gonna lie. Shay, you're gonna really have to prove why you the MVP, dog, because this is getting interesting. And I'm not trying to say that we didn't expect it to be a competitive series, because I did. I thought if the Pacers came and stole one in the first two on the road, then they could stretch this to 6, potentially 7. However, Vegas did not agree. Vegas did not think so. I believe they were minus 650, minus 700. One of the most favored NBA finals I've ever seen, ever. And Shay could potentially lose it here. Either way, future of the NBA looks bright for sure. But man, Shay, come on. Where's this at? We need that cape. The double teams are nasty.
And look, I can admit when I'm wrong, and I definitely was wrong after that game 4 when they gave up that 17-point lead in the fourth quarter, and the Thunder came back and won it, and Shea scored 12 straight points to put them in position to win that game. I thought that was the end of the Pacers in this finals. I didn't think they would win another game. I thought it was going to be 4-2 Thunder, and I was wrong. You know, I gotta keep giving Pascal Siakam his flowers, dog. I think he doesn't get talked about enough.
No.
I think he's the most important player on that Pacers team. Haliburton gets all the praise and the glory, which well deserved. But Pascal Siakam does so much that shows up in the box score, but he does a lot that doesn't show up in the box score. Man, that dude sets great screens. He gets back on defense. You always see him out there communicating. He's a great leader. Mental toughness, right? He just brings so many different intangibles to the game that makes that Pacers team so good. And he's a mismatch, bro. He could switch on guards. He could guard a big. Like he rebounds the basketball. He could distribute the basketball. He could score. He could make free throws. He can knock down 3-pointers. Like this guy is a real Swiss Army knife,
Yeah.
and he is the X factor in this series, in my opinion. When you talk about when the Pacers win, uh, I thought TJ McDonald coming off the bench. I think he's probably the best backup point guard in the league. When you talk about being able to guard somebody 94 feet and put pressure on him and be a pest, and offensively, how he's able to distribute the basketball and pick his spots when to score. His mentality out there, like he just does so much when he's on the court, and they just have a bunch of guys like that running around. I think the key to the game seven for him, though, man, like, and it's been a talk of the finals. Haliburton has to get going early.
Mm-hmm.
He has to get going early. I would love to see Haliburton shoot the ball at least 18 to 20 times in this game seven. If you're gonna lose, go down swinging. Go down swinging. You're gonna be on the road at OKC. It's gonna be loud. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be chaotic. Haliburton can't wait till the second half to start trying to get going. Still be the playmaker that you are and get your guys involved. But we need you coming off thinking to try to be a score first. And then if that defense rotating, they trying to send two people at you, then find an open man. But I need him to come off being aggressive, bro. And they're going to need Benedict Mathurin to come off the bench and give him at least 12 to 15 points. I think if that happens, and they keep playing defense and keep being physical the way they being, I think Indiana has a chance to win this game seven, bro. Even on the road. For the Thunder, Shea gonna have to put his cape on, like he been doing. He gonna have to be 35 points, 8 assists, 7, 8 rebounds. Jalen Williams gonna have to give him at least 20 to 25 points. Chad Holmgren gonna have to be around that 15 to 17 point mark, right? And they're gonna have to get some big shots from Dort, from beyond the yard, from beyond the arc to be able to have that space, give him a lot of spacing on offense. Because when he knocking down shots, now you can't leave Dort. All right, and I think that's a big part of the offense when you have him on the court and then you bring somebody like Wiggins in, that could knock down these shots, and Caruso, right? Now this gives Shea a lot of room to operate, because if you help, he gonna find an open man and they knocking it down. So I think that's the key for OKC. But I'm going with the Pacers. That's been my pick since the beginning, and I'm gonna stick with it.
Bro, and I got an interesting. I had to check the odds real quick. First off, Pacers plus 245. The spread's at 7.5. You can go ahead and bet that plus because that game gonna be close. We already know that deal. We know what 7 is. G, come on now, bro. For the Finals MVP, Shea minus 240. Look, this one's not a bad one because, like you talking about, Pascal balling, not getting enough credit. He's the second highest, plus 320. Haliburton is at plus 1300, dog. I know value when I see it. I'm sorry. You might as well throw change on that, dog. Come on, bro. If the Pacers win and Haliburton turns up, I feel like it goes without saying. Pascal, hey, he's a good lock for it too, though. But I'm just saying, come on, bro. Go chase that. Set a bet at plus 245. Go grab that 1300. Come on. Come on. That's value. I think Vegas is tripping. They've been sleeping on the Pacers the whole entire series. And then talking about Haliburton, if he starts early, starts fast, that's how you open the floor up for everybody else. Because then they go try to do what y'all did to Shea, and they go put the double teams out there, and then boom, like you said, swing some passes around, spread that love, spread the sugar. I think it's possible. And then we've been in this era. I mean, especially with guys like Jokic, Embiid. I'll throw Giannis out there, Şengün from the Rockets, but you're not in a spot no more where a player on your team, especially your key franchise player, he can't just have one small little role. He got to be able to do everything. Got to be able to shoot a little bit. Got to be able to play make a little bit. Obviously, you got to play defense. Grabbing boards is a key. But everybody is becoming an all-around player. When back in the day, 8, 9, 10 years ago, it was an anomaly. That was something that everybody's just sitting there like, oh my God. Now it's expected. The big man got to be able to stand out tall on the wings and bust a couple if they're left open. And then the point guards got to be able to come inside, create some separation, all this different stuff. It's interesting watching the game evolve right in front of your eyes. I think one of the biggest pieces to that, I know I said Jokic, but Steph Curry, dog, the evolution of the three-point ball, it made every single person. You want to get paid? Show me how you shoot behind the arc. We're watching that kind of transpire in front of us. Let's talk about Ace Bailey real quick. Come on, G. This was supposed to be the Pelicans guy. And I feel like, look, honestly, it might be like a better opportunity for them to even be able to get him now than it really was before, because his odds to go top 3, they dropped about plus 500. They were like plus 300. They slide, almost doubling. A lot of questionable decisions. Now, obviously, I'm gonna just be honest. I think it's bad advice. I don't think it's necessarily him making these decisions, stepping out of the meetings, not doing the workouts. I think some people are pulling strings behind it, trying to manage it and pick and choose where he goes. Do you think that he's gonna drop out of the top three? Do you think it could be intentional? What you think's going on with this? I mean, confidence is always good, dog, but I think people start to get confused when you're this confident this early and you don't have proven results under your belt.
Obviously, um, him not working out is really not a big deal to me. Uh, we've seen this before. There's been a number of players that has been lottery picks or projected to go in the top three, top five that hasn't worked out for teams. My only issue with Ace Bailey is he doesn't even want to meet with the teams. And so I have a problem with that. I know he had a meeting scheduled with the 76ers and he canceled. So to me, I think that's bad advice. I don't think him not working out is bad advice. I think him not meeting with the teams is bad advice. And I think him canceling a visit to meet with the 76ers, like you just can't do that. That just looks very, very immature on his part. And I know he's represented by Sharif Cooper's dad. I want to say that Sharif Cooper and Ace Bailey went to the same high school in Atlanta. So I think that's the connection there. But I would think, even with him not meeting with teams, even with him not working out, I would think he's still going in the top five.
Okay.
I would think he's still going in the top five. I don't think it's smart on a team's part to draft somebody that you can't meet with and that you haven't seen work out in person. Unless you have somebody in your organization that's been around this kid and they have ties to him and ties to people in his camp. And you have people like that in the NBA. You know, a lot of people don't understand, bro. When you talk about professional sports, and they getting ready to start investigating and preparing to try to draft certain kids in these drafts, it's like the FBI. It's like the feds, bro. They go find out everything that they need to know about a prospect. And so there's no telling, you know, whatever teams that wants to meet him or that had plans to meet him, I'm sure they have people in their organization that's doing their homework and that's able to find out what they need to find out. Uh, with the 76ers, I do think it's a long shot that he'll go there. I think he probably I don't know who's at 4 and 5 though. Is it the
Let's go look.
Hornets?
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, in this order: Mavericks at 1, Spurs at 2, Sixers at 3, Hornets at 4, Wizards at 5. Or no,
Right.
Jazz at 5. I'm tripping.
Jazz at 5. All right. So um maybe this is some kind of strategic move to get him to the Hornets or maybe the Jazz. I don't know. I think that for him to cancel that visit to the 76ers is a clear indication that he doesn't want to go to Philly. All right. We already know that Cooper Flag going one to Dallas. We
Mhm.
already know that Dylan Harper is most probably going to the Spurs. So I think this is about he doesn't want to go play for the 76ers for whatever reason. For whatever reason. Who knows what that reason is? You know, I thought that'd be a good situation. Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, Joel Embiid, Ace Bailey. Like, bro, that's a hell of a tandem when you talk about those four players. So uh it's gonna be interesting to see how it all play out. I just can't see a talent like that going out the top five. Right. I just can't see. And then look, I'm gonna tell you, bro, like, a couple of me and my friends were talking about this earlier today, and I wouldn't be surprised if he has locked in with a team, whoever that might be, and they might be saying he ain't meeting with teams, but it might be this one team he has met with and has done workouts with, and they just keeping it on hush to get him to this particular organization.
Lower that
Um,
stop.
I think that could probably be going on, right?
Mhm.
So who's after the Hornets and the Jazz?
So after the Hornets and the Jazz, you got Wizards at 6, and then the Pellies We might need to do a stakeout outside the Oshner's practice facility. See
And
what
let me,
this kid
you
is.
know what I need to do? Greg Monroe. Uh, I can't remember what his title is. He works for the Pelicans now, but I know he's doing the Big Three right now. But I'm gonna make a phone call.
He's the player development coach.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a phone call. I gotta make a phone call. I gotta find out if Joe Dumars is trying to pull a wool over everybody's head. Have they been secretly meeting with Ace Bailey? Has he came down to the NO and worked out, or has Joe Dumars flown to Atlanta, where he from, and seen him work out? Like I got to do some digging and find out what's going on here, man.
Let's figure it out. Let's get some
I'll
boots
figure
on
it
the
out.
ground. Get some NBA coverage out here. I feel like it's interesting. Real quick before we hop out of here, it's also interesting looking at the production of him. Like, what do you think about having only 1 year of college under your belt? And I'm not saying 17-7 is bad, G. And this is, I mean, comparison is always the thief of joy. But he's 90th in points in college, and he's outside the top 150 in rebounds. So what, like? How you even find that you got this leverage to be able to do this? Because this is risky, in my opinion. Because what if it doesn't work out in his favor? If it works out, hella smart. If it doesn't,
I believe that Ace Bailey is the best player in the draft. All right, I've been watching Ace Bailey since he was in high school on a shoe circuits. Right, he's an unbelievable talent, bro. And best believe that these NBA teams been watching Ace Bailey since he's been in the 10th grade. Like this is, and that's what a lot of fans, the average fan, doesn't know. Right, these guys, especially the NBA, not so much in the NFL, but in the NBA, these owners, well, not the owners, because the owners don't know shit about basketball, but these GMs and the guys as a president of operations and these scouts, they be knowing about these kids when they're in the 9th grade, bro. Like Cooper Flag been on the scene since going back to when he played on the Under Armour circuit with that team from Maine. I remember seeing it when he was in 9th grade, right? This has been the talks for a long time about Cooper Flag possibly being the number 1 pick one day. This ain't something that just started, right? Ace Bailey too. Like, nah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never heard people say when he was coming out of high school, like his junior sophomore year. I never heard people say that he could be a number 1 pick. But everybody was saying like this guy's a potential pro, well, not a potential future pro, and he's a potential lottery pick. That's what all the talks was being said about Ace Bailey. So these NBA executives been knowing about this kid. All right, this ain't something that just happened. And when you talk about his production, 17-7, bro, you know how many points Anthony Davis averaged when he was coming out of
14.
Kentucky? Like 12 and 8. You know, and you got to remember, Dylan Harper was his teammate now, so he took a lot of shots too at Rutgers. So I don't think the production part really matters. Kyrie Irving only played 6 games or something like that for Duke and went number 1, and we saw how that turned out. We saw Anthony Davis turned out. All right,
I'm just
so
curious on where he gets that leverage from. Like, how do you know you in that situation? Like, who's
bro,
telling him this?
bro, again, have no problem with him not working out. All right, y'all been watching me on the circuit since I was in 9th grade. Y'all know what I could do. Y'all saw me in college. Y'all saw me do it in college, right? I have an issue with him not wanting to meet with teams, right? Even if you know damn where you want to go, I just think it comes off as a red flag with you canceling the visit to the 76ers. But having said all of that, that's why I think it's a strategic move by Sharif Cooper's dad, where they're trying to make sure he lands at a certain spot. Could it be the Pelicans? Could it be the Jazz? I don't know. I don't know what team it could be, but that makes the most sense for why you wouldn't go on that visit to the 76ers after you said you was coming. Like, that has to be what it is, bro. They must be trying to get into a certain spot.
And I honestly thought going into last week the Sixers wouldn't even hold that pick. I thought they was trading it. I ain't even gonna lie to you, but now
You never know, though. You never know. You saw what the Pelicans just did. They just got another pick from the Pacers. All right. So now they got
they're
the
loading up.
23rd. They got the 23rd and the 7th pick. All right. So they might be trying to package some things to be able to move up to that 3rd spot. We're gonna see. But when you say why does he think he has that kind of leverage? He has that kind of leverage, bro, because he's a top 3 player in his draft. That's why. Everybody knew that. I think he's the best player in the draft. That's just my opinion.
All right. Real quick, you seen that Rockets headline? They said that they betting on KD's trade value to drop, and they're trying to swoop in at the last minute and offer a little bit rather than a lot of it.
As long as A-Man Thompson, Sengun, that's probably it. Them three.
Jalen Green, I want to keep him too. I'm sorry, I'm selfish. Get rid of Jabari, dog. I don't want to. I don't want to lose him.
Yeah. Jabari, I like you. I like you. You're a good role player, but yeah, you're not living up to the number 2 pick. You're not. Jalen Green, I'm on the fence, bro. I'm on the fence by Jalen Green. I'm not saying that he's not a star. I just don't know if he's the best player on your team. Can you win a championship?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
I think
that's what I'm saying.
The role that he could serve on this team, though, in terms of giving you a little 20 piece every now and then, having an explosive ability from that side of the court, I feel like it's going to be hard to sit there and replace that because we ain't getting that in Reed Shepherd, dog. And look, Reed going to spot up and yak him over and over and over. And you got people like Tyree Eason who's going to come off the bench and provide some of that boost. But, bro, Jalen Green got bounced, dog. I ain't going to lie. He exciting to watch.
I think he should be a number 2 option on an NBA team. He shouldn't be the number 1 option, bro. Not if you're trying to win a championship.
I agree.
So if you got to trade him to go get a star or another superstar, that's what you got to do.
It ain't KD though.
Yeah, I'm not a listen. I think KD is one of the best players in the world. I just think at this point in his career, to put him in that situation with the Rockets, with all of them that young talent over there, I just don't think that's a good idea. You know, from what all the reports that I heard about KD, they say he's not the best leader. So to bring him in a culture like that with all those young players and him not being able to lead them, I just think that could cause them to not reach their full potential as an organization. That's just my opinion. You know, I really wish they could find some kind of way to get Giannis.
Bro, I know. Yeah, see, like that, you can take Jalen Green. All right, cool. Because now I feel like I'm getting something for it.
Yeah, for sure.
With KD, dog, if you lose, because look, if they get KD, it ain't no 1-for-1. We giving multiple players. I already see the writing on the wall. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
And it can't be that because you did a lot of struggling to get to this point to have all this foundation, a young foundation. You had to be real shitty for a long time, get boo-boo lottery picks, and they did good drafting. Like they didn't miss. I ain't gonna lie, they didn't really miss. Jabari, like we said, ain't really living up to it, but it's not horrible. It's not a bust.
No, he's solid player.
Right.
Like Jabari going like if they trade him away or if he stay on the Rockets, he gonna always be somebody that's gonna give you about 14, 15 points a game, 8-7 rebounds. He gonna shoot about 37% from 3-point range. He gonna be able to switch on a lot of different people, 1 through 5. Like, you know, he brings value. He just not living up to that number 2 pick value.
And I'm glad they extended Ime too, because I heard the Knicks were trying to pick a phone call up. They getting denied for everybody, dog. But Ime, he's locked in. 713. Hopefully they can get Giannis. I don't think it's happening though. My hopes are officially dead for the Giannis trade. The KD trade, look, if y'all want to give him a bag of chips, maybe a shitty draft pick, all right, Jabari, enjoy Phoenix. You could lose the Jackets. It'll be pretty dry out there. KD coming in, man. I'm gonna be wishy-washy. You gotta catch me whenever it happens.
And if you remember going back when he left OKC to go to the Warriors, the Rockets was one of the 3 teams he met with. So he's always been fond of the Rockets for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? But I think he met with the Rockets. He met with, I think, maybe what might have been the Knicks and
Celtics too. I'm pretty sure because I
think
the
Celtics too.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, I think it might have been the Celtics too. And then he surprised everybody and went to the Warriors. But I remember the Rockets was high on his list.
He pissed me off with that. On July 4th, ruined my day. I ain't even want barbecue, G. That's over with. I was done. We over with it. Come on, Rockets. Do something. Make some shake. Go hit up Greg Monroe, G. Let's find out this about the Pelicans. We need that scoop.
I got to find out what's going on with that.
On Monday, we could potentially have a national championship when we get back on, G. I ain't gonna lie. I just want to ask you one more question before we hop out. Do you think that they hosting that trophy before we back on live at 1 o'clock on Monday?
if Anthony Iverson, when he gets his opportunity in game 2, which I think I'm thinking he will be the pitcher in game 2.
Yep.
I think they'll hold the trophy up, bro. But that's a big question mark. For some reason, like Anthony Iverson scaring me right now, bro. I'm just being honest.
And if you got to throw Monday, if we do have to preview a game 3 on Monday, I think you might be able to have the depth. Shit, Jay, throw me out there. I might have a couple Ks in me. Give me a little inning. Give me a little inning. I got to throw probably 12. My shoulder might be over it, but hey, I think you got enough people for Monday. I don't know. We'll see. Coastal ain't nothing to sleep on though. 26 straight. Oof, in that streak. In that streak on Saturday. Because if they make it 27, you might get swept. Sorry to
Right.
say it. I don't want to speak that into existence. Y'all have a good weekend. Enjoy some baseball. Hopefully LSU hosts number 8 before we back on live. I don't know though. We'll see. Y'all have a good one. Smash that like button for us too when you hop out of here.